What's going on, y'all? So listen. Finally, I'm back. Okay, with How to Get Away with Murder 2. Oh well, season 4, episode 2. I am not her. Okay, I apologize once again if you saw my scandal review. You know I had some issues going on, so it kind of pushed me back. So some family stuff to deal with. But I'm here. Don't expect these to be late like this anymore. So it was an emergency. Anyway. How to Get Away with Murder. Okay, this is now. At first, I was thinking because it starts off. Annalise. It's 9:01 a.m. She's going to her therapist appointment. He's a psychiatrist. His name is Isaac Roa. I didn't catch his name last week, but we saw it this week because Annalise was looking him up and getting his background and trying to figure out things about him and what he do. Doing your basic Google search on these people that they want you to see. Something that I would have done. Okay, so her whole thing is she's trying to talk about her case. He's asking, well, you're living in a hotel, and I know most hotels have a mini bar and all that stuff because she was trying to give the upside of being in a hotel. You can come and go as you want. It's cheap, and you got it made and stuff. And he was like, well, it might be alcohol up in there, so trying to imply or just simply ask instead of just asking, did you touch the alcohol? She said, no, bitch. Okay, I didn't touch the alcohol. I'm sober as fuck. You can give me a breathalyzer. The only reason why I'm looking like I'm tired is because I've been on my case. I've done the case, her first case back, for the past week. And I was like, okay, bitch, he gonna say something already. I said, Mama gotta do her work. She need to make these coins. Ain't no sitting down as soon as the people said, hey, you got your license back. It's time to get to work. It's not time to just sit back and wait a couple of weeks or whatever. No, we gotta get the ball jumping because we ain't been in work in a minute, okay? So the therapist is just doing the most a little bit, but not really. And it's getting under Annalise's skin for the most part because Annalise is not the type of person. And technically, he's really just doing his job and trying to get her to open up because his whole thing is she was just talking more so about her case and what was going on in that aspect of it instead of talking about her personal, what actually led her to be an alcoholic and to go through all the changes that she went through and to come across, he trying to get into the personal shit. And she ain't trying to do all that just yet. Okay, she was like, wait a minute, you Google me? Okay, he said, no, I ain't Google you. Okay, I'm just trying to get there. That's what I'm trying to do. And he's a little frustrated, give her a little paper because she's trying to avoid a lot of stuff. And that's typically what people do when they have to go to a court mandated therapist, piss. And they doing something that they really don't want to do. They try to drag it out or stall it out so that they can just do the requirement and ain't got to say nothing. And so he's going to play along, but he's calling bullshit on what she's doing. And he gives her this paper, as she was talking about her first case, she gives her the paper to fill out. He forgot to give it to her in the first session. And it's basically asking, have you ever been through this? Have you been through that? Sexual abuse and hostage and bondage and all that stuff. And he was like, you was bondage and shit? She said, jail, motherfucker. That's like being kidnapped and all that stuff. I was like, I see what she, held hostage and shit. I see where she coming from with that. But they go further into the case. Girl, when he was asking about that alcohol and they show Annalise open up that mini fridge and throw them alcohol bottles, let me tell you something, you can get fucked up off them little bottles, okay? Sometimes that shit be strong. I'll never forget. I'll never forget when we went to California. We was up in the Peninsula Hotel. Bitch, that was the first time, I ain't gonna lie, that was the first time my new ass, alright? That was the first time I ever been to a hotel and it was a mini bar that was stocked like that. I mean, it had all the goodies, all the drinks, big drinks, little drinks. Bitch, we was fucked up in that hotel, okay? And it wasn't on our dime, so hell yeah. But Annalise, she threw that shit in the garbage can. I said, bitch, take them bottles out and go open it up and go drink them, drain them. That's what you need to do, drain them. So it won't be no temptation. But she probably could have opened them up and then probably smelled the alcohol and got a little. and tried to be tempted. So okay, I hope you just went on ahead and threw that bag out. But I do believe that she's sober. Um, so her whole case, I'm just gonna get Annalise stuff out the way right quick. Her whole case that she was talking about is Jasmine. Now, if you go back to last season when Annalise got sent to jail, one of her roommates was this older woman, and she always called her the queen because she was like, "You a badass bitch. You come up in the courtroom with your badass suits and stuff like that." And I'm like, how can I get this queen to represent me? You know. And so she's a prostitute. She's there on a charge for soliciting a police officer and being pulled over drunk and disorderly, probably high as fuck, and having a gun that I guess wasn't licensed to her, probably a legal firearm. So she got arrested. Now, at first, they didn't know about the solicitation. So, and Elise showed up and was like, "I'm your lawyer. I'm doing it for free." And of course, Jasmine is happy. Everybody is happy for it. So they get to the court, and Annalise is trying to do her thing. And I don't know if they was trying to give her resistance because it's Annalise and all the bullshit that she's been going through. Like, her name has not been out of the headlines with negative press for 3 seasons, okay? For 3 goddamn seasons. And so they found out some more evidence, some more stuff. The prosecutor brought up some shit about soliciting the police officer. He was like, "You need to go ahead and look at the tape, okay?" And she needed to file an extension, okay, on the case because she just got it so she can get her shit together. The judge said no. All right, you can go file that 106 motion and do what you got to do, okay? But the trial starts tomorrow. And at this point, Bonnie comes in and she got a case. They was like ADA so and so, and that's when um assistant DA. That's what she is. And Elise was like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck?" Because when she walked past Bonnie, she was like, "This is not the time or the place right now." And Bonnie was like, "I know that." And then they was like, "Assistant DA, ADA." I said, "Ooh." At that point, and Elise was like, "Bitch, what?" Okay. And I said, "Yeah." Bonnie then went over there to the enemy because she needed a job right then and there. But after that, Annalise is trying to get some records for after she confronts Jasmine about her history as a prostitute and why didn't you tell me what was going on about you soliciting this cop, because they looked at the prosecutor told Annalise, look at the footage, okay? And she literally was trying to suck him off and solicit him and push him off when they was trying to arrest her, whatever. And Annalise Annalise showed her the video. Jasmine sitting there like this. I said, "Bitch, you proud?" She was laughing her ass off like this some good theater. But Annalise said, "You have got to tell me everything that's going on, okay? What you just did up in this tape, they could have charged you for battery. They could have charged you for assault, because police officers petty as fuck. That's why they charge you for the solicitation." And she was like, "What? Usually it works. 10 minutes in the backseat of the cop car, and that's it. I'm free. But obviously it didn't work this time, and I just do my time." Because she did have a public defender that told her that the case, she'll probably get 8 to 10 years and maybe 6. And Annalise said that's what they always do. They always say those lies. But at this point, Annalise was getting upset. And not necessarily upset, she just wanted her to take this more seriously. And Jasmine was like, "So you basically trying to come at me for not telling you this and trying to make it seem as if you lose this case, it's gonna be my fault? Girl, get your ass out of here, because I didn't ask you to come down here on my case. You came down here on my case, all right? You want to know why I'm like this? Okay, go back in my history. Why don't you get to know me?" And this is when she went and told this story about how her daddy sold her for 13 when she was 13 years old for 2 bags of drugs, okay? I said, "Oh my God," to a group. She said to a crew. And she was like, "Do you know what they do to the new ones? the newbies. They strip them naked and take turns, and then they just put them out there on the street. You already broken. You already don't know who to trust or whatever. So they get you. They get you young. So you scared to do anything else, and that's how they program your ass to go out there and then to do this and do that and do that to whoever and bring that money back. And then the way to get through it, you gotta get drugs. Okay. And so you get drugs, you plead out, you go out there, you hook, and you do all this shit again just to get arrested to do it again, and then to get out again to get some more drugs and do all this other shit. It's a cycle. It's a fucked up cycle. And so she said that shit was called wolf packing. I was like, oh my God. It was sad. I said, girl, you better act, okay? You better act because I felt that shit. Pause. The prosecutor, okay, the prosecutor, if I was sitting here like, I know those pink lips and I know those eyebrows from somewhere in that forehead. Bitch, that is the son who had all the fucking problems off of Nip Tuck. If y'all ever seen Nip Tuck was the motherfucking show. FX had some good shows back in the day, okay? You know, Nip Tuck was the bitch. That was the bitch, okay? When Ava came out there, Ava the transgender, and he didn't know that she was a transgender, bitch, and he fell in love and wanted to marry, girl. That was, I'm telling y'all, go look it up. Go look it up. Crazy stuff. What was I talking about? Yeah, so at this point, Annalise was feeling a little bit down about that. And, you know, she asked her, so she wanted to get all of her case files, because she told her, why don't you go back and see all the times that I was arrested? She said, I spent my whole life in a cell, all right? So at this point, she's going down to the office, to the court office or whatever to get her files. And she said, I need to see all of her files from when she was a youngin' to now. And some of the files the lady didn't want to give her. She was giving her to run around, and Nate popped up and was like, bitch, go ahead and give her the stuff. Quit being a bitch. She been through a lot of stuff already. Give her some slack. And at this point, before that, Bonnie and Nate had crossed paths, and Nate was just like, Bonnie had asked him about helping her get with this eyewitness, and he said, "No, girl, I ain't working with you." He said, "I don't know what it is that you and Annalise think y'all doing, but you're not finna involve me, okay? This little setup." And that's what people was thinking in the comments, that, you know, maybe this is part of Annalise's plan. Bonnie and Annalise, they setting this up so she can get to the DA or whatever. But at this point, either they really acting good or it's not a setup, okay? Because Annalise really did not know that Bonnie was going to be with the DA. And so Nate wasn't buying it. But when Nate popped up and they had a conversation, he told her the same thing. She was like, no, it ain't no setup. It ain't no blackmail or nothing like that. I fired Bonnie. I fired Bonnie and I let everybody go because, like you said, people are better without me, okay? I fuck up everything. Every time people come around me, I fuck it up. So, you know, I decided to let them go. He was like, okay, I'm going to find out. And, you know, eventually he realized that she was telling the truth because he goes back and he helps Bonnie, tell him, I'll help you get the eyewitness. But Annalise was looking through Jasmine's case, and come to find out, we see the earliest time that she was arrested for prostitution, she was 18 years old. The most recent, she was 58. Okay, and she was like, you've been doing this since you was 13, forced to be out there on the streets like this. Where are your other files? That's because she's a juvenile. She said, when? What's the earliest time that she was arrested? And she told her some stuff, and she told her about the cop and all the stuff who tried to arrest her, but the court let her go, and shit like that. And she was like, okay, so that means you was a juvenile, which means that your juvenile files are sealed. So she used this old case that says it's okay to go ahead and unseal a file, and that's what she used in the court to you know, win the case. She eventually wins the case, and the way that she went off, it was like the old Annalise coming back. I said, yes, you better go there, because she had the old arresting officer who arrested her when she was 13 years old, and she was like, it never occurred to you that this was a minor and that she might be out here being trafficked, you know, and out here as sex slavery. Okay, so you arrest her and then y'all put her back on the street. Y'all didn't do nothing else about it. All right. And it was like, well, those terms were very new back then. We didn't know nothing about that. And then Annalise was like, that's some bullshit. This is all y'all fault. You saw a girl who was a minor and you want her to take responsibility for her actions when she was a child, probably being forced to do some shit like that. What 13-year-old or what child in their right mind will make the honest decision to go out there and do this shit on their own? Okay? No one. All right? Unless they fucked up in the head, no one. Okay? And then she was like, do you know this name, this name, this name? It was like, these are all the other girls that you arrested that was around 13 years old in 1968 for doing the same thing, prostitution. Instead of just putting them back on the street, you put them into a rehabilitation center and so they can get their life together and go ahead and do what they needed to do to get better in life. But what you did with her, you put her back on the street. And you want to know what the difference was? All these girls was white. She was the only black one. You know, she was going off and the prosecutor was like, objection, Your Honor, objection. And even the judge was trying to say, stop, stop, stop. But Annalise just kept fucking going. And at the end of the day, the judge was like, you know, you was up in here doing too fucking much, Annalise. That's what the fuck you was doing. And I thought he was about to say, bitch, she's still going to jail. But no, he was like, I can't dismiss all your other criminal charges, but I can make it so that, you know, you can get out here. Your slate will be clean. You can get jobs without any problems or whatever. And he gave an apology because he said, even though it was fucked up, what the courts did, they did it wrong. Okay, they was not there to help this girl to live a better life, put her on public assistance and everything like that. And it was like, that's the best that she can do. And Annalise was talking to talking to Isaac, the therapist, and was telling him, I bet you I'll get a phone call soon saying that she's back on drugs because she's a prostitute. She's a drug addict. This was like a career to her, okay? This is all she's known. She's never had an honest job in her life, and I'm pretty sure she'll be back on this stuff again, calling me, trying to help her out again. And he was trying to make the connection saying that, why are you helping this lady? She didn't ask you to come. You went to her. Is it because you see her in yourself? And I said, oh, what you trying to do? She said, bitch, just because I was sexually assaulted don't mean that that was me, okay? She said, you know, this really ticked Annalise off, okay? And he was like, well, maybe I read you wrong. I don't know everything about you. I'm still getting to know you, so I apologize if I read you wrong. And, you know, I used to be a heroin addict and all this stuff. He started divulging some of his history. And then Annalise caught on real quick like, oh, so I see what you're trying to do. You trying to open up a little bit, trying to put your stuff out there so you can get me, the patient, to open up and divulge all my shit to you so you can use that shit against me. Bitch, I know this whole game because my last therapist did that. And you want to know what the fuck happened? I married that bitch. I said, oh, Sam, I forgot he was a therapist. Okay? Jimmy just sat there like, well, damn. Okay? That was that with that little scene. We're going to get to another part at the end. Because from day one, he seemed suspect. Since last week, he seemed a little suspect for some reason. And then when you open up the episode, he's on the phone and he was like, okay, she's here. But I gotta go. She's here. I said, oh, so you talking about your clients to other people? I thought, what about patient confidentiality and all that shit? But I guess that don't apply. So who the fuck was you on the other line of that phone talking to like that? Are you working for Laurel's daddy? Baby, I'm just asking these questions. I'm trying to connect the dots just like everybody else. Because in this goddamn show, it's a possibility everybody's working with everybody, okay? Just like American Horror Story, Cult, you can't trust nobody, bitch. Because everybody's connected in some bullshit. The kids, they get ready to go on like these interviews to, it's like a job fair for lawyers. And, you know, these law firms are coming out there and they're nervous about it. Oliver got his own little IT company that he's trying to start up, and basically it's this Kaplan and Gold law firm that everybody's trying to get to. And Laurel got a whole bunch of information on there, but they were just shocked that they was allowed to come in. And then you had that bitch of a student, the one that did those posters about Annalise's murder. His ass was up there talking shit about y'all the lowest in the class. I'm surprised they let you up in here. The only reason why they let you up in here mostly is because they want to ask questions about Annalise. Now let me tell you something. They made it sound, they tried to make it seem professional at first. With Michaela, she was giving all the right textbook answers. I was like, oh, Michaela really gonna get her job and everything. It looked like she was winning people over. Asher was nervous as fuck. We already know, but he was being goofy and, he just being plain Asher. I just was surprised that he got the offers that he got after that. He got 3 callbacks after that, and one of them was Kaplan and Gold, okay? Michaela got 5 offers, and one of those was Kaplan and Gold's too. And then you be seeing Laurel talking to a homegrown, um, smaller firm, and they was trying to tell her, you need to button up your jacket so that they won't see that you're showing. Somebody said, is it possible that she might be having a phantom pregnancy? And after seeing, at first I was like, Dad, I never even thought about that. That means, or I should say, a hysterical pregnancy, thinking that she's pregnant, but she's really not. And so therefore you take on the symptoms like you're pregnant and your body start changing and shit like that. But apparently she really was. So I don't know. But when they is sitting there with Connor, those two douchebags. I said, Connor, get your ass up. Because them motherfuckers look like the type of people that, if he found out that you was gay, call you the F word, behind your back and probably to your face, all right? It was almost like a frat boy meeting, okay? And they were just being really, really rude with the questioning and saying, basically, we know you're not going to get this, okay? And I was like, well, damn. It was like, well, just tell us this. How was it like working for Annalise? And then that's when we see everybody being asked this question. And, some of them avoided it. Some of them answered it a little bit. But other than that, like I said, the only two people that got something back or they said was Connor and Michaela. And then, not Connor, but Asher. Connor went back down there because they was like, why you acting like this? Why you acting, you didn't say nothing as to why you really wanted to be a lawyer. He said, maybe I don't want to do it no more. And, all this other stuff that's going on, maybe it's not in my heart no more. Oliver said, bitch, you sound so white right now, okay? You got all this stuff and you been through all this shit as if you really, really been through some stuff. Now you want to act like you don't want it. I said, bitch, Oliver, come through. I had to rewind and say, did he say what I thought he said? Oh, yes, he went there. Bitch, ABC7 been going there all this week, okay? Blackish and then that comment. After that, come to find out, kind of goes back down there trying to talk to the grassroots, smaller firm, and she was like, "We already got people. You can just go." And then he hears, she said we got 8 candidates already, and then she's calling Laura Castile. Okay, she didn't come down there. She didn't tell anybody that she got a call back. In fact, she said she didn't get one back, and she gave all her Kaplan and Gold information to Michaela. And of course, Michaela used that to her advantage. But what Laura was up there doing is looking at a death that happened at her father's job, his industry, his little workplace, okay? And so, you know, when they back there at Kaplan and Gold, Asher and Michaela get there, they trying to chat it up, and of course the douchebag ass other student, that bitch got there, and he over there talking shit to Asher, trying to get him, to lose his cool. Asher was about to beat that bitch ass, okay? He pushed him so hard, made him drop that glass. I said, oh, I see why you with him, Michaela. That kind of was hot. That was hot a little bit, because when Michaela said, go to the bathroom, kick a garbage can if you have to, but don't let nobody up in here see you lose your cool, okay? He was like, all right, you right. I said, that's what you do. That's what you do. But then she looked at her one. She said, if you ever say anything about him, because he brought up his father and said, oh, you can't hang your stuff on your father's reputation, your father's name, and all that stuff. Now, it was a double entendre because, the father has a big name in the law area, but he died by hanging himself. And I said, why would you put them words together? I caught that. If y'all didn't call it, I just put the connections together. That's what made him mad. Okay? And he was being a bitch. And so when he did all that, Michaela said, if you ever say anything to him again, I will chop your balls off and feed them to you. And trust and believe, I done worse. She had that little motherfucker shook. I said, oh, you better stick up for your boo. Come to find out, she does get an offer, from Kaplan and Gold. And Laura was looking for her and said, "You need to take it." She was like, "Okay, I'm gonna take it." She said, "What's the big deal though?" It was like, "This is the law firm that represents my father's company." And it was like, "All right, that's cool. Well, why don't you call your father to get you in?" She was like, "I don't want him to because he's the one that killed Wes." And she was like, "Wait a minute, bitch, what?" Yes, he killed Wes. I said, "Well, girl, give us some insight as to why." This whole season probably gonna be figuring out what it is. So I'm do y'all really think that he intended on killing Wes, or was he literally an accident and was meant for somebody else? Oh yeah, I forgot that Frank came over there to Annalise I was about to say apartment, but Annalise hotel room, and was like, he had those files. He the one that gave her those files, the juvenile records on Jasmine. He was like, "I'm still gonna be here. Whether you want me or not, I'm still gonna be here to protect you." I said, "Oh, okay." So it fast forwards to 2.5 months back into the future. And this is when we go back to the hospital and we see Laura talking about her baby is gone and all this shit. And Jimmy walks out, the therapist, Isaac Roa. He walks out and he's on the phone trying to call Annalise, like, "Where you at? Where you at? She's awake." I said, "Wait a minute, bitch. So y'all in cahoots too? What is going on?" And then we see Bonnie walking into the hotel that Annalise is staying at, and it's a whole bunch of cops and stuff out there. They're talking to people on the same floor. They go into her hotel room and they said they found a gun and this is where shit happened. Then they go into the elevator. It's just like this streak of blood, like this trail of blood just going into the elevator. I said, did somebody cut her baby out? Is that like what they trying to make it seem like? That Annalise was jealous that she was pregnant with West's child? I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? Y'all tell me what y'all think that meant, okay? What happened to that baby? Do you think Annalise really had something to do with it, or somebody else, her daddy? Tell me, and I will see you guys later. Peace.